guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now today's video we're gonna be doing with Naruto was like Tobi part 5. So yeah, this video is 45 like for the next part, and yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this part and enjoyed. Yeah. I'm after I'm done with this series, which is like I think I only have like 2 more parts to do or 1 more. So yeah, something like that. Basically, after I'm done with this series, I will be doing with Naruto was in contact with Yotsuki, because I just posted a poll. Like for you guys it's yesterday I believe, but for me it was like a couple of minutes ago, and basically that was the one I was winning. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, I'm gonna be get this video started. Off with basically Kakashi, as he would just gotten a call from the Hokage, as he would basically open the door to see Mema, Mito, and Jiraiya and Tsunade sitting on her desk, as you basically say yo, while waving like his usual self and still looking at his precious book, right? It's just go like that, as he would basically walk into the Okage office, as you would say, so as Tsunade would say, so now that you're here, we can finally get started. As make sure I'm reading this, alright. As basically like I'm freaking as basically Tsunade would say, let's get this started, as we basically finally get started to get like they basically started to head to the other Kages, like not other Kages, like the Kage Summit area. Basically, we skip over to the Namikaze Uzumaki residence to see Mema and Mito basically not get fucking. Why are they messed up so badly? I'm too sorry about that. Basically, they told them to go get ready to like pack up so they can get ready to go to the Kage Summit. As we skip over to the Uzumaki Namikaze family residence, as Mema and Mito were sitting down as they were eating, as then Mema would say, so now that we're basically going out of the village, we have a chance of seeing them again. As Mito Mito basically stopped eating as and look at Mema and basically say, you mean Sasuke and the Akatsuki? As Mema would nod his head, especially those two, the Tobi and Mio people. Like basically that guy named Tobi and the girl named Mio. And basically he would say how it's like we meet them every time we go out of the village, like they basically still want something from us or something. As we have a flashback 2 years ago, after the Chunin exams, Tsunade became Hokage. Due to the death of the third Hokage, he was in Tobi, as Mema and Mito were basically walking down the street of Konoha, as to see Sasuke basically his hands were full of lightning and basically to Sakura's chest, as she basically would say why, only after for Sasuke to smirk, as you basically have awakened his Mangekyo Sharingans, his precious Mangekyo, and then the blood basically come from his eyes, as then he'll basically leave the village looking for Orochimaru, but then he'll basically remember that he was killed by Tobi and Mio and this other guy with the bird, basically, as he would look at, and he took out away after beating him so easily, as you basically start to basically go back to the village because he didn't really know what else to do. But then he'll basically hear a voice, as he would basically look back to see Kabuto, but something was different about him. He had basically two snakes horns and scary skin, and a snake attached to his torso. As you basically look at Kabuto and say, "What happened to you?" As Kabuto would smirk, as you'd say, "I've gotten Orochimaru's power, and I heard that you wanted power as well. But since he's dead now, you basically want to go back, but you can't do that. Stu- Due to that stupid girl's death, am I correct?" As then Sasuke would basically say, "So what are you proposing?" As Kabuto would basically say, as I'm proposing that you basically join me. I will give you power that Orochimaru. I will give you the power that Orochimaru wanted to give you, and more. As Sasuke would basically end up going with him. But before he basically left, Mema and Mito would basically come trying to stop him, but the snake in Kabuto's torso would basically bite them, giving them some poison to basically knock them out. As we basically see, as before they were completely knocked out, they see Kabuto and Sasuke basically walking away. As we see Tobi basically appearing and just laughing. As then basically that's the end of the flashback. As Mito would basically say, if they were to show up, will you will you ask for information about him? As then freaking sorry about that. Basically, Mito would say, if they show up again, we will ask for information about him, and then bring him back. As they will basically continue, and they talk about Sasuke. Like if they see Tobi, they will ask him about information about Sasuke. Basically, that's what they're saying. So yeah, basically they will continue to eat as we skip over to Sasuke to see him standing over the dead body of Kabuto Yomoki or something like that. I don't know his last name, but I'm pretty sure he had one. As then he'll basically leave the hideout that they were in, and basically yeah, like he'll get a team ready, like to form the team Taka or something, to basically go and kill Itachi. As we skip a week later, as we basically go to land of iron, as we basically see a big tower with the kanji for peace on it. As we skip inside the tower to see hundreds of samurai with white armors. As then we basically see the five kages and their guards. We see the five kage in their guards behind them, walking to the room which basically was designed for the five kage summit. As all the respective kage would take their respective seats. As then the Raikage A would basically start to talk, since basically saying, "Since I'm the one who called this meeting, I suppose it's only right that I basically start as well." As the other four Kage was not in agreement. As I'm sure that you all know about the terrorist group known that goes by the name the Akatsuki. As all the Kages would basically nod, the Tsushikage basically say, "Yes, we basically know about them, but basically know about them, but do you know anything new about them, or is something that could help us defeat them? If not, then this meeting is just it's just pointless and a waste of time." As the Mizukage would basically say, "Let him finish, not Kazekage, Tsushikage. Stop interrupting him, or we'll basically be here all day. And at your age, you should really be more careful about the amount of time you basically waste." As the Shishikage will basically glare at her, as then the Raikage will basically say, uh, will basically say, the Akatsuki has been a lot more active the basically past 3 years or whatever. As the Kages would not agree again, as then Raikage would say, "They have basically managed to take all the Terror Beasts, and we still do not know what they did with them or plan to do with them, but But what we know for sure is whatever they're planning isn't good for us. And only the only Jinchuriki left is the a.dTHEWEEB. My brother Killer B is the only remaining Jinchuriki. As then Snade would say, yes, and we need to make sure that he is safe and put him somewhere he won't be able to be in danger, basically, or taken away. As Zoikage would say, yes, you're correct, which is why we have him basically to a safe location. And I actually know, basically, Tsunade would say, do you mind telling us where he is? And Zoikage would say no. Basically, he would say, yes, actually, I mind, because the more people that knows, the more he's in danger. So I'll basically not tell you guys so it doesn't get into more danger than he has to be. So he can be safer, whatever. As basically, as then they'll basically hear people say, well, that's a shame. As the Kages will basically look up to see all of the members of Akatsuki, with like basically all the people with like black cloak, red clouds, and white outlines, as a man known as Pain or God says, Kaze Hokage, Kazekage, Sushikage, Mizukage, and Waikage. This building is completely empty, other than you, the Kages, and us, the Akatsuki. Shocking the Kages, as then the Waikage would say, you bastard, what did you do with all the samurais? As that were basically guarding this place. As Kakuzu would drop a body of the underground. As you basically say, I've got my hearts back. As then basically all the five Kage would look down to see it was like a freaking samurai. As then the five Kage would basically say, not the five Kage. Kakuzu would say, the five Kages, you guys sure have a big bounty on your head. I'll be rich if I get those bounties. As Hidan will basically say, no, they will basically be used they'll be used as a sacrifice to Lord Jashin. As Kakuzu would say, you stupid idiot. Your ritual, you and your stupid ritual isn't important. As Hidan says, how dare you call Lord Jashin religion, whatever, basically stupid. As Kakuzu would basically just say whatever. As then the Raikage would basically launch himself up only to be blown back by Pain saying, oh mighty push, or Shinra Tensei basically pushing him back to the ground. As he would say, Raikage, know your place and stay down, as you're in the presence of a god. As the Rinnegan would basically go purple even more. As then boom, the whole building would basically be destroyed flat on the ground, as the Akatsuki members were slowly descending down, except for one, as they would basically hear a giant, not like a boom, but like, almost like a thud, pretty much, as they would look back to see basically Tobi laying on the ground, face first. As Mio basically run towards him, she basically would say, Tobi senpai, are you okay? As he would basically put his arm around her neck, as he would say, oh Mio-chan, you're my angel. As then they would basically slowly get closer to each other, only for the masks to basically hit each other instead of them actually kissing. It was just the mask. As Tobi would basically jump up and run away, as you basically say, Deidara senpai, how come you didn't come and help me? As I was so hurt. As then I was basically in the brink of death, and you didn't even come to help me. As you basically be crying on your tears. As Mema will basically say, you with the orange mask, where is Sasuke? As Tobi will basically look back, saying, who me? As Mema will basically say, yes, you. Now start talking. As Tobi will basically say, why should I don't recall. Wait, hold up. Right, sorry about that. I just have to make sure I was actually recording. Basically, Tobi would as Mema would say yes, as Tobi would say, why should I don't even you didn't even call me by Tobi or good boy or the great Tobi, or but he was stopped by as everyone basically he suddenly stopped as everyone would basically be looking at him, wondering why he stopped, to see that he was staring at two things or two people to be exact, as they'll basically look at what he was looking at to basically see that he was staring at Tsunade and May, not actually staring at them, more like the assets, as Tobi will basically say, hey, just wondering which one is bigger, and since I've basically been a good boy, can I lay on them and basically go to sleep? I'm tired. But before he could continue, he was kicked in the face as he was slammed to the ground, as Mio would basically be stepping on his back, as he would basically be screaming for help. But no such thing would basically come, as Pain would basically say, well, just ignore those two. Now, let it be known that we of the Akatsuki have come here and basically have decided to basically give you guys a chance of handing the over the a.dTHEweeb Jinchuriki, and then peace will finally be achieved, as for you and the entire world. But if you don't basically give us the a.dTHEweeb, you and the entire world shall know pain, as basically Airi would say no way I'm giving you the a.dTHEweeb or whatever, my brother, as Pain would say, very well then, as you wish. Then this shall be a declaration of war. The fourth great ninja war shall begin now. As the Tsuchikage would basically say, now if we can help it, now if we kill you right now, as he would use his particle style and launch it at Pain, only to get absorbed by the absorbing path, would drop it away, basically absorbing it. And then all the Kages will basically start to fight the Akatsuki members. Sorry about that. We basically skip an hour later, as we basically see Mema and Mito on the ground, as Tobi beat Mema and Mio beat Mito, as we basically see the Ikage as his left arm was destroyed and his leg wasn't in good condition, as he was standing over the door, as both of the door's arms were basically ripped off, as we basically see Kisame dead from the fight from fighting the Mizukage, who had used the lava to basically mill him away, and the Kazekage Gawa had Hidan and Kakazu in a fist of sand, like a sand fist, whatever, as it was crushing them, as Kakuzu's heart would explode from the pressure, killing him, but Hidan was still alive, as Itachi basically was already dead by Sasuke, as we basically see Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakashi standing over the dead bodies of Pains, as then they will basically hear a child's giggle, as they will basically see Tobi saying, Mio-chan, look what they did. How could they do this? Such a cool thing. As we basically we're just trying to bring peace to the world. As Mio would say, yes, Tobi senpai, you're right. I think we should make them pay. As Tobi will basically say, yes, maybe we should basically do so by destroying the villages. Just kidding. As then his voice would change into a deeper voice and menacing one, as he would basically say, it's just as expected. They have outlived their youthfulness, shocking everyone basically, as and basically they would basically say, oh gosh, as the masked man would basically say, Izumi, go and retrieve them, as the girl known as Izumi, previously known as Mio, would actually be her real name is actually be Izumi, will basically get sucked away into a swirling vortex. So basically this, like, Mio isn't actual Mio, that was just like basically a Tobi name that she was using, and her real name was actually Izumi the whole time. So yeah, she would get sucked away into a swirling vortex, as then Hokage will basically say, is this some kind of joke? As then the masked man will basically say, Yes, I am Madara Uchiha, and Izumi is my granddaughter, named after my younger brother Izuna Uchiha. But since she is a girl, I decided to name her Izumi. But that is the most important thing right now. As the Akatsuki said earlier, I have decided to start the fourth Great Ninja War. But that is true. But I shall explain to you what I plan to do with the Tail Beast once I basically get them. I will, as the other Kage will basically look in shock to the explanation that he just gave them, which I will not be telling you guys about it until later on. As the Aikaki would basically say, never, no way, in here I will give you, I will give A to you, as we basically go for a punch with his only working hand, only to get basically go right to Madara, as then Madara will basically get up off Mema and Mito, as you basically say, see ya in the battlefield, as you skip over to, as we get sucked away in the story vortex, as we a little bit later, they would kill Hidan, just like how they just rip him apart and like bury him, whatever. Long story short, all the Akatsuki members pretty much die, except for Nagato's body and Pain. Not Nagato's fucking hell. Basically, Nagato's real body and Conan, sorry. As we basically skip over to Izumi, she will basically appear into a room, as she would see a girl with blue hair, and as she basically, her name was Conan, as Izumi would disappear and appear behind Conan, and she would basically shove a sword through her back, killing her instantly. So now only Nagato remains. As then she would basically walk, as she basically see the crippled body of Nagato, as she would basically walk behind him, as he would basically say why, and she would say sorry but Madara's orders, as she would basically push the rods that was sticking out of his back deeper into his body, burst into his chest, completely killing him. And she would take out his Rinnegan's eyes and put them into a jar, as she would basically smoke, as suddenly a swirling vortex would appear next to her, as out of it would come out Madara Uchiha, as she would basically nod to him, as then they would basically walk away. Skip 10 minutes later, they would basically appear into a room, as there was a operation table there, as Madara would basically take off his mask, revealing it to be not actual Madara but a teenager. His name, like in his late 16s, as he had basically spiky black hair due to how long it was. Like all the time, Naruto actually had long hair, but he put a genjutsu on it to basically make it look like Tobi's real hair. But in truth, he had hair pretty much like Madara. As he basically had hair going down his back, pretty much like Madara Uchiha. As his eyes, he had Obito's eyes in canon, basically just like the same Mangekyou pattern, and yeah. As in not Mio, Izumi has a flower pattern basically in this one, so yeah, just thought I would let you guys know. It's like, yeah, as basically, it will reveal to be actually Naruto, as then the girl would take off her mask, revealing a girl about the same age as the male, but she had long silky hair, not spiky, about the same age, like the same length as the male, basically going over her back, whatever. Basically, that's Izumi, but just imagine instead of green eyes being black and no headband. So yeah, that's basically her. Anyways, basically, then Naruto would lay down on the operational bed or whatever, as then she would take out the miniguns and medical things and stuff like that, and start operation. As Zetsu would basically come from the ground, as she would basically told Odozetsu to get ready for war as he went back on the ground getting ready for the war. As we skip a day later, as Naruto would open his eyes, as they basically had the same black color as before, but then it became red with three black tomoes, as then it, it changed into three bladed shuriken, basically the same as Obito, like I said again. As then it will become purple with black wings, as then now to clap his hand together, as you'd say, when a rebirth. But before anything could happen, Izumi would basically came into the room as Naruto and stop him, as Naruto basically say, what was that? Well, as she would say, what are you doing? As she would be glaring at him, as uh, basically Naruto kind of look at her confused, and she would say, you know, that was how dangerous that was. This jutsu basically, you will not, I will not let you use this jutsu. It might kill you. You can only use it after you get what we want. As Naruto would nod, as he would basically say sorry. I guess I got a bit too excited. I won't do it again. As she would basically hug him. As just skip a week later, Naruto has basically began practicing his new powers, as Izumi had basically been helping him with basically uh practicing his powers, whatever. As Zetsu's are basically doing the job correctly, and also making sure that Zetsu are doing their job correctly as well to get ready for war. Meanwhile, in the Hinley village and the other villages were panic and on lockdown, getting the troops ready for battle. As we basically skip another week later, as we see Naruto basically walking up to Izumi, waking up to Izumi, to see Izumi basically sleeping on his chest, as he basically wake her up, as then she'll get up only for Naruto to basically pass out from nosebleed, as she basically would look confused, as then she would look down to see that she was completely naked, and as she would basically blush, remembering the events that happened last night that kept them that kept her and Naruto up last night, basically all night, as as Naruto basically wake up to basically, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then if you don't know what events that happened last night, then yeah. Anyways, basically, yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, basically, as Naruto wake up, no, not wake up, like he would get up from the blood test that he, like the nosebleed, as basically he would go to a shower to see Izumi there, as he would basically sit on a little chair thingy. It's kind of not really a shower, it's just like a personal hot spring basically, as Izumi basically get close behind him and basically start to wash his back, as she basically ask him what's wrong, as he would basically sigh, as he would say just I just don't want you, I just I just don't want to lose you, I'm scared to lose you, as she would basically hug him, as and say it's okay Naruto, you don't need to worry so much, I'm pretty strong, you know, and if I get into trouble you'll basically be there to protect me, as so I'll be just fine. As Naruto would turn around and give her a passionate kiss, as a image of her naked on the bed would basically flash into her head, into his mind, as he would basically, as you would like have a look of this determination appear on his face to protect her no matter what, as basically he would say yes, I'll make sure you survive no matter what, as I'll make sure you survive no matter what. It's not challenge. But guys, this is Restaurant Blood. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of this one. Sorry about messing up so much and all the background noise and all that stuff. But yeah. Get the video for 45 like for next part in the the next part is actually the final part. So yeah. I hope you guys, if you want, yeah, basically just get the video 45 likes so you can get it final report, so I can go and do the wife Naruto was in contact with you Suski next, because that's what you guys picked for the script of what I should do next. But yeah, anyways, so for the new, I'm gonna be off for now. Peace.